Welcome to Canadianish Comedians. I'm Laura Toogood.
And I'm Julie Betts.
Today, we are joined by Zabrina Douglas, representing Brampton, Ontario.
Oh, well.
The home of a shit ton of funny people. Isn't that right, Zabrina?
Yeah, there are a lot of Brampton comedians that are working right now.
So what makes... Oh, sorry, go ahead. I was just going to say, so what makes living in Brampton so funny?
Oh, everything? Hello? No, I represent Brampton, but I represent a lot of other things. So, it's not just Brampton, but Brampton? I think this would take over the podcast if I tell you what's so funny about living in Brampton. I think, a lot of people might know, but...
It's funny because you know how they have Toronto man. Why don't they have Brampton man or Brampton woman or, because you see those all the time on social media and it's like, okay.
It's probably coming for sure.
Yeah.
It's going to come. When, I don't know.
We all think it's something in the water for sure out in Brampton because there are a lot of really funny people.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That's true.
Out there.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh.
So tell us a little bit about yourself. Like you grew up with immigrant parents. Were you a sassy child? Did they try to beat it out of you like my parents did with me? Was that what made you want to become a nurse? Just give us a little overview of what makes you.
Yeah. So for me, I remember when I was a kid, I don't know, I might have been 8 years old. I actually had a dream that I was on stage telling jokes before I even thought of it. And I'm like, what? I woke up, I'm like, what? Do I want to be a comedian? And I remember I told my dad, I'm like, Dad, I want to be a comedian. And he just turned to me and he's like, you want to be a clown for your living? You want to be a clown and not make any money? What about your mother? What about your father? We need money, our family. I was just like, oh my God. He's like, you have to be a doctor, a teacher, or a liar. Those are my, and he's like, what do you want to be? And I'm like, oh my God, I guess I'll be a lawyer. And so for years I tried, no, I didn't try. I tried in high school when you have to choose certain courses I was like, I took American history. It was interesting. And then I think I took some type of course, political science. Very boring. I'm like, I don't think I can do this. And then I thought I wanted to be a teacher. And I'm like, wait a minute, why do I want to be those things? And then that time with my dad, he made me and then I did go to nursing school. And then I chose nursing. I was undecided in my first year of school. I'm like, I better make a decision because this is expensive.
Yeah.
Very expensive. And then I was like, I like people. And I chose nursing. This is my life. No, I enjoy it.
You know what? Immigrant parents crushing their children's dreams everywhere, right?
And then I eventually became a comedian again. I'm like, what? Full circle. Amazing. Yeah. That's all. And it's so funny. So when I first, while I was in nursing school, I remember the last year we had to do a project, how we did a video on pretending to be we were pretending to be newscasters reporting on some type of health issue in Detroit. And I did a thing and I was so funny. And then the nursing instructor was like, you chose the wrong profession. I was like, what?
Get out.
I'm going to be a nurse. It's too late. Awesome. And you know what? I had really bad stage fright. I had the worst, almost crippling stage fright before I started. And the only reason why I started stand-up was I wanted to get rid of that stage fright because I couldn't, I would get so nervous talking in a group of people. If there was a group of doctors saying what should we do with this patient? And I would be in my head, oh my God, I should say something and be like, oh my God, I can't, there's no way. I'd get so nervous and I'd doubt myself and I'd get heart palpitations. I start shaking and I'm like, forget it. I'm not going to say anything. And then I remember I turned 30 and I'm like, I need to get rid of this stage fright. And I Googled public speaking, whatever. And I saw that there was this workshop at Yuck Yucks and I'm like, oh, whatever.
Cool.
I was just like, this will get rid of my stage fright. And it was like 4 Sundays. And I'm like, I paid for it. So I'm like, I'm going to go on stage because I paid for it.
Yeah.
And it was like the second last workshop I actually got on stage and I froze. And then the instructor, shout out to Larry Harowitz. He's
All right, Larry.
the Humber College comedy instructor. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
He was like, just tell us about your dad. And then I did a joke about my dad. Everybody laughed. And like, honestly, I drove back from that workshop and I took the wrong direction, but I was like, is this what I want to do? Like, so that's literally what happened to me.
Very
and
cool.
now I don't have stage fright anymore.
Yay.
Awesome. I know. I mean, I can definitely relate to that. That just that fear of being wrong if you open your mouth, especially in that profession. Like, you might have made the wrong decision there.
Oh yeah.
And people are
so mean. They always look at you like, oh my God, why did you say that? So like, I would never. Now I'm just like, I say whatever.
Yeah.
And they're
Good
like,
for you.
Obviously, you have a sense of humor. So, how does that serve you in your profession?
I remember during the pandemic, like people totally appreciate. They're like, thank you for making me laugh. Like, honestly, there's like a lot of patients, they'd be in isolation because of COVID. That was like at the beginning.
So hard.
Yeah. And then they'd have to be like isolated for like how many days? Remember at the beginning, it was like 14 or something.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
So it was like, and then nobody would want to go in that room, and then I would just I would tell jokes, but it's so hard. Like with a mask, we'd have to wear a face shield. As soon as you open your mouth, everything fogs up. So I'm like, oh, this is so hard. Yeah. But I would those people in isolation totally appreciate somebody who's just I'm always a high energy person. They're like, you're so happy. And I'm like, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. But it looks like it. This is how I prevent myself from crying. So
Yeah.
It is that fine line, eh?
No, I know. Oh, it's always like that for me. I'm and especially I work all night shifts. So, I'm always whenever I go to a unit, everybody's like, Zabrina's here. You're going to tell us jokes. You're going to tell. I'm like, no, leave me alone. Let me just do my work, do something first. They're like, come on, Zabrina. And I'm like, it's too hard to talk with this mask on.
No pressure.
I end up doing it anyway. I'm like, you guys.
You should start charging them.
Yeah, right?
I know, right? I'm like, I get paid for this now, okay? I remember I had a charge nurse that would literally call me overhead to tell me to go in the break room. I'd be like, what? And she's sitting there. She's imitate every charge nurse from the 1st to the 8th floor now. I'm like, what is happening? I'm busy. And then I'm like, okay, I'll do it. And then I imitate everybody. She's like, oh my God, I know who that is.
Oh no.
I'm like, you were so weird. Awesome. Can I go back to work now? Yeah.
You must have been a lot of fun in school too, eh?
No, you know what? In school, not really, because I did have that stage fright. And then, but if I knew you, then we were telling jokes all day. But if I didn't know you, I'd be so shy. I was a different person. Yeah.
That's insane. I cannot picture you being shy, being the little wallflower in the class, at all.
I know my daughter's like that, and every teacher that meets me, they're like, I don't understand why your daughter's so shy. Look at you. Oh. Yeah, I used to be like that. And I'm to my daughter, I'm like, you want to do stand-up? She's like, no.
I was going to say, sign up for that yuck class.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. But she's like, never. So I'm like, whatever. You'll do when you want to.
Yeah, for sure. It's I'm a makeup artist, and my daughter didn't even start wearing makeup until she was in her 20s. And I'm like, who are you? What?
I mean, I remember being 6 years old and stealing those samples out of my mom's drawer and wearing lipstick to school. And boy, did I catch hell for that.
I caught hell because I wore foundation. It looked bad.
Oh no.
What are you doing? And I'm like, what? Like a crazy person.
You wore foundation?
Yeah, it was my mom's foundation, but she was I think a lighter color than me. Yeah, because I would go out to school and it was sunny, and you know, the summertime you get darker. Yeah. And then I put on her foundation like I was gonna, like, I remember that, and she wasn't mad. She was just like, okay, now just calm down. Like, do not, like, just wash your face. Like, you look so bad.
Yeah.
I was like, I thought this is what we're supposed to look like. Yeah, it was bad. Yeah.
That's too funny.
So fun. So how many kids do you have? I heard a rumor that you have 5 kids.
It's not a rumor. It's true. Help
me. 5.
Help. But you know what? I got remarried, so he has 2.
Oh, okay.
I have 2, and then we have 1 together.
Aww. That's so lovely.
They're annoying. They're annoying. But like the age range is so different. So like I have the oldest one is 19.
Okay.
And then the youngest one is 5. Yeah.
Sorry. I'm just gonna go throw up over here. I'm like, good for you. That takes a shit ton of patience.
But honestly, like together, it's like literally it's so magical. Together, everybody like gets along, like everybody, like they have so much fun together. So like when we're together, it's like it's the coolest thing. Like, it's not like, you know, some families, this person doesn't get this one, but like, yeah, everybody's like so good with each other. So yeah, it works out. It's not that insane. Except my house is super messy. But anyways.
That's okay. Whatever. Messy house is a fun house, right? Do you find that
I want to get rid of everything? Anyways.
Do you find that your kids gang up on you and pick on you or no? Because that happens at my house. I have 2. And they fight with each other until I'm there, and then they pick on me, and I'm like, yo, dudes, like, why are you, what? I don't get, like, no, you hate each other, but then you join together to hate me. I'm just joking. They're great kids. They're adults now, but it's like, you don't get that with yours. They don't pick on you and like,
well, I mostly pick on them. I will make fun of them, and they're like, "You're so embarrassing," and I'm like, "Yeah," but like, yeah, they'll come to my shows, and then my daughter stalked a little bit because I'd be like, "I love you so much." At an open mic, she's like, "Mom, stop!" Like, I love you. She's sitting right there. There's my daughter. She's 19. I can't believe it. And she's just like, "What's happening right now? Honestly, what is happening?" And I'm like, "I don't know what happened." Okay, you're distracting. Yeah.
Listen, it is.
We'll ruin a whole set.
Yeah. It's our job to embarrass our children. I think that that's the payback for having given birth, right? Is that we can pick on them and make fun of them and embarrass them. I think that's an unalienable right. So how did you manage through the pandemic with 5? Like that must have been insane.
I think it was like harder for people who went home alone by themselves. I think that's harder, you know, with everything being closed. But I had 5 of them, so it was just like I wanted to be alone. I'm like, what? Can I isolate? They called and I'm like, can I isolate from my family too? And they're like, no, you can isolate together. And I'm like, I guess. My daughter, though, the 5-year-old was like, you're home? Like she was having a feel. She's like, this is the best life ever. Like mom and dad home. Like, but like at the beginning of the pandemic, we went on a vacation to my parents in Jamaica. Because they live there now. That's what their like retirement place. And they were going to shut down the border. And I came back and I work in the hospital and they're just like, oh, we don't know anything about this. I'm like, they're like, you have to stay home because you traveled. And I'm like, oh, how long? And they're like, for sure, like 5 days. And they're like, oh, don't come back for 14 days. And so we were on vacation, came back and we were off for another 14 days. I was like living the dream. And then like when you first had to isolate at the beginning, you got paid for it. So it was just like,
yeah, why not?
Do you guys need me? I'll be here. And we just hung out and like I got time to clean, I got time to do stuff. Nice. But then I had to go back to work when we were partway through the pandemic and I was just watching the news and I started freaking out. I'm like, I don't want to go. Like having the first COVID patient, every nurse was just like, yeah, you're gonna have your first COVID patient. I was freaking out too. Yeah, but now people are like, oh, this person's COVID positive. Oh, okay.
Yeah, okay.
Like, yeah. Oh, you are? Yeah, okay. Yeah. Like everybody has it.
Oh, for sure. And some people 2 or 3 times or 4 times now I'm hearing that people have had COVID and I'm like, what?
Yeah, I think I had it twice for sure.
Yeah.
And it's like the next time they're just like, yeah, just wear an N95.
Yeah, right. Don't even stay home now. Just come in.
Like,
doesn't matter.
Isolate at work. I'm like, what? How? Oh my God. Yeah. So everybody has it now.
Aw. Nice. What a change in the world, eh?
I know.
So when did you swing back into performing after that?
Oh, during the pandemic, I honestly did not like those Zoom shows, but I did it anyway. Like I started first, initially pre-pandemic, I stopped stand-up for 5 years and I came back like a year before the pandemic.
Oh, wow.
And then the pandemic made me stop and I'm like, okay, I have to do these Zoom shows. But those Zoom shows, honestly, I ended up loving them because like I'd work nights, like shifts in the hospital. And then those Zoom shows would just take up 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes of my time. And I'd literally go on break and be like, you guys, I'll be back. And then open my computer and I'm like, watch my patients. And then I would do a set.
That's
and
cool.
then these nurses are like walking by like the break room. They're like pretending. They're like okay, we're just gonna sit here and watch me do my set. I'm like, oh, those old man balls, right? They're so stretchy. They're like, what are you doing? To the point where like I'd be like, oh, like one time I tried to say, oh my God, I have a Zoom show. They're like, we're so short. Just come in. We'll watch your patients. You can do your show, please. Just come. And I'm like, okay, I guess I can make it then.
That's awesome. So good.
Oh my God.
Yeah, one time I did 2 Zoom shows. So I had my phone and my laptop. And then there's one nurse, like, you're going to hear some really bad jokes for like about 20 minutes. Are you okay with that? She's like, fine, go ahead. I'm like, all right then. I did one set and I closed that and I had my phone. I'm like, hey.
Oh my goodness.
Hilarious.
Multitasker.
I'm like, this is so easy. Yeah. And then I come out of the break room. I'm like a little bit sweaty, but I'm like, all right. Got some jokes off my chest.
Yeah, because some people were saying they couldn't do it because there was no, audience.
Well, yeah, I got used to it. Like I didn't like when you did some shows and they muted everybody. It was like, oh, like I did a storytelling show and there was 83 people. I'm like, oh my God. And they muted everybody. So it was like, it's so weird. I'm like, okay, I guess I'll just talk in the wind. But I did it anyways. I was like, sure. But a lot of people got a chance to do so many American Zoom shows. They got a tour all over the U.S.
Wow.
because of Zoom, right?
Wow. That
yeah, you got to work with
sense.
and you got to work with a lot of different comedians because of Zoom, right? Like, yeah, there's some good things, but still, it's hard. Yeah, I hope we don't have to go back, please.
No, knock on wood. Like, no, thank you. I'm good.
Yeah, I don't want to go back to that shutting down the world business. So I don't know if that's gonna happen, but we'll see.
So you're performing live now, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So go ahead. Yeah.
No. I was just saying, yeah, I've been performing live. It's so like audience interaction is like, oh yeah, I'm doing it like way more now for sure.
Have you played in many dead rooms? Like not necessarily a small crowd, just a catatonic crowd?
Oh, oh, what do you mean,
people who don't get it?
Oh yeah, whatever, man. It's just like that's the challenge, like to see if they will get it. But like, yeah, for sure. But I've noticed after the pandemic, I noticed that people are coming out more, and the people that come out more are like so excited for comedy, and they just want it. They're just like, yeah. tell us a joke. Tell us a joke. I'm like, sure, you want to hear it. But as for pre-pandemic, I think people were just like taking like these kind of live performances as they're like, who is this person and why are they still talking? I'm trying to have a drink kind of like shows. There's not a lot of those anymore. Now it's people like honestly that want to hear comedy, and that's like pretty cool. It
is.
Yeah. Well, we were starving for it when we were in the pandemic. Like as soon as they opened up and they started having shows again, we were like, okay, let's go. We're on the road. Exactly. We're going to go out and watch some really funny comedians. And you're right. I do feel like there was a definite shift in the energy surrounding comedy shows.
Yeah. So. And now like Toronto is like, there's so many like, you know, I call them like underground comedy clubs. There's so many like shows and paid gigs for comedians, like so many like that you can do. And it's just like, we're like, there's a lot of comics. We're super busy now. Oh, well, I'll take it.
It's good that they're starting to pay them more because we just did a CanCom seminar. They're doing like, I think 8 weeks or something. And the first seminar was all about how to get paid as a stand-up because that was an issue for a long time. And I think it's good that it's being addressed and looked at on a larger scale, that these people aren't going out and making peanuts or nothing, right? So
yeah, exactly.
Especially when you've paid your dues. And as a woman, it's a little bit harder, right? Because it's harder to book some of those gigs. And, you know, we always mention that it's like you see a lineup and generally it's maybe one woman and 7 guys or 2 women and 8 guys. It's like the disparity between the sexes is still there. And we're like, come on, ladies, step up. And it's so good to see that someone like you're doing your all girl review, right? The Black girl.
I know, because I had to. I'm like, yeah, a lot of the shows I remember, it's a lot more different now, but still, there's a lot of the shows where it's just all guys, and it's like, why? Does the audience really want to hear like an all male perspective? Like, why? You know what I mean? And then like I'll come on, and I always get people afterwards saying like, oh my God, it's so refreshing. It's so refreshing. Thank you. And it's like, yeah, I don't know why. Yeah, that there's not more women, but like for sure, it's just like people are tired of just like the comedy scene can be super backwards. Like they need to be up with the audience. The audience is diverse, so like I don't understand why the lineup can't be. I mean, I think some of the bookers are just not giving like people a chance, but I don't know. I'm still going out there, so
sure. I think to what we've noticed is that there are more and more women producing shows.
Yeah, because it's like you have all these male shows and they're talking about things that are like we're just like, oh, like sometimes before I go on stage, I'm like, I can't shake what that other comic was saying of like something super offensive. And it's just like, oh, what the hell? I gotta perform with you now.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Like, yeah. And sometimes like those all women shows, they just feel like more accepting and you can say whatever you want. And it's like, it feels like a safe space. Yeah, for sure. Like nobody wants to be in, like, there's some open mics I used to do back in the day that were just like, I don't know if I should even be here with all these, like, you know,
yeah.
So like, yeah, but there's one on Thursday night. It's called the Open Michelle. It's like an all women lineup, or like, yeah, it's like a super safe space. It's like perfect for like people who just want to start stand up. And it's like, I always recommend people to like go there. But then, yeah, there's always the real shitty all male open mics, and those are just not cool.
Yeah,
not cool at all. So like, yeah.
Well, hopefully we're going to see a bit more of a revolution where that's concerned, because women are funny. There are so many funny women.
Oh yeah.
You know? And it's like, we need more exposure for you guys.
Oh yeah. There's so many funny women. There's so many funny moms.
Yeah.
I think moms are hilarious people. What's going on? Like, yeah. And there's so many funny women right now. It's like that are breaking out in like Canada. So I mean, it's insane. For sure.
Yeah. It's so true. So you were on Kenny Robinson's legendary Nubian Disciples All Black Comedy Revue.
Yeah.
How did you get that gig?
Oh, I've been doing that for like years. That show. I did that show. The first time I did that show, I think it was like either 2014. I did that show.
Yeah.
And then I just recently headlined it. So that was pretty cool. I remember I first did it. When I first did it back in 2014, it was like so different. Like if the people, it was like almost like Showtime at the Apollo. Remember that show where people would come on and get booed?
Yep.
That's what they used to do. And that was nerve-wracking for me because I seen people get booed and then I'd have to go on. And I was like, and I still was a little bit anxious. Well, I still get nervous when I go on, but not like, I would get so scared before I got on that show, man. I'm still traumatized. But like, that show's pretty amazing. But still, oh man. I remember some guy drove all the way from Detroit, got on stage. I don't know what happened. He froze and he's like, does anybody know where Michigan is? Like, why are you asking that question? Anyways, it doesn't matter. And they booed him. I'm like, no. Wow. And then Kenny went back on stage and he's like, he drove how many hours to be here? Give him another chance. And they put him on stage and they booed him again.
Oh,
I'm
no.
like, I hate this. Yeah, that show. Oh,
that's vicious.
Yeah, that show used to be. That's why it was sold out every month. It was just the bad comedians would come on, and then Kenny. I never forget. Kenny Robinson would be like, "If you don't like a mother," I don't know if I'm allowed.
It's okay. You can swear.
He'd be like, "If you don't like a motherfucker, make sure you let him know." And they're like, "Yeah."
Oh, so he instigated it.
Oh my God, total instigator. Oh, and I'll never forget. Somebody got booed, and then I went up to Kenny Robinson. I'm like, please don't put me after this. I can't do it. Please. He's like, no, you're next. You're next.
No.
So I was going to record and I just shut it off. I'm like, I'm not going to record this disaster because that person was getting booed. Okay. For a very long time. And I was freaking out. But like, I never got booed. But the problem was every time I did the show, I would do the same jokes all the time because I was so scared of getting booed.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, this sucks. Like, I want to do new stuff. I want to try out. It's a full audience, but it was like, I don't know. These people are waiting. So I just do the same stuff all the time. But like, still, man, there's like a lot of good comedians that I know that got booed on that stage. I mean, it's like, super traumatic.
I would cry. I would be like, run off, right?
I don't know. I think I would just start dancing. Just like, boo, more boo, come on,
the sound of booze, come on. Oh yeah. Oh my God, the show's not anymore though. If it's if somebody's like not doing well, that nobody says anything. I'm like, okay, all right, whatever.
Oh, is that because of snowflakes or?
No, I think it's just different now. Like, it's a lot of the comedians that go on now are just like comedians that have just been doing it for years.
Yeah.
Before you put like new people on, it's like but like it's not that kind of crowd. That's it. No, I didn't like the booing. No. It was good for the audience. They love the action, but like for me, I still get anxiety.
What was your biggest takeaway from that?
Oh wow! Like, I remember Kenny. He was like, oh, he's more like a mentor to me. He'd be like, oh, you make sure when you come to the show, you make sure you get a laugh every few seconds. Like, you never leave a silence. Like, you always make people laugh, and your set has to be high energy. So I'd be like, okay, so like. Back then I was like still kind of starting out, so I would always work on my set to make sure that people were just laughing all the time. Like, he'd give you really, really good advice, and it helped me with like showcase sets, performing that way and like getting better gigs. Like, for sure, that show helped me a lot. Those kind of stages for sure. So
that's awesome. We've heard that from a couple of people that have been on his show. Like, such high respect for him.
Oh yeah.
That's awesome.
Oh
yeah.
Yeah. Godfather of comedy, Canadian comedy.
Yeah, right.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So, tell us a little bit about things Black girls say. Like what inspired you the most, and where did you get the motivation to get out there and do something so amazing?
Well, I started that show in, I think, 2015 because I was tired of being the only female, not only just being the only female on a lineup, but the only Black female.
Mhm.
And then sometimes I would get people like hosts introduce me like, she's Black, like stuff like that. And I'm like, really? Like, are you kidding me? This is just like so insane. And I'd have to go do my set. Like, and then it's like I was just like, I'm gonna do a show that just focuses on Black, because then they started like sprouting out all these new Black female comedians in Toronto. There wasn't a lot. Like when I first started, there was Dana Alexander. She's amazing. She lives in like England right now, and Keisha Brownie. That was it.
Yeah.
And there was more. There started to be more, and I'm like, yo, what if I do a show that just focuses on Black women? That's it. We're funny, man. I could do a show with just Black women. So then I remember I first started it. Every month it sold out for a year. It was crazy.
Wow.
The big room in Comedy Bar, and it was just like everybody wanted to be on it. And like, yeah, I obviously I'd have to have other people like on it, which didn't matter. But I made, if it was a Black female, I'd make her headline and I'd host. So like, as long as, whatever. But like, yeah, that show, I love running that show. And it was so funny because like, a lot of the people that come out will be Black women that will be in the audience.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? Yo, you got, you're a girl. Like, you know what I mean? So it was like, it was pretty cool. And a lot of people liked it. They're like, I haven't seen anything like this before. I didn't know. Nah. So like, yeah, it's like actually a fun show to do. So we'll see. Yeah. I want to take it on tour for Black History Month. So we're still working on that.
So smart. Get a grant. You should be applying for a grant.
I know.
Seriously. Get that shit going, man.
Oh, shoot. Yeah, I better get it going.
Listen, CanCom had that you can apply for like a $2,500 grant.
Yeah.
I think that's if you were unemployed, though.
Is it?
As a comic, yeah. I'm pretty sure, but it doesn't. It's not the only grant out there for the arts. Yeah. They have other stuff on their website.
Yeah.
Okay, I better look into that. Getting tips while doing a podcast.
Hey, why not?
That's what it's all about.
That's why we're here.
Yeah, man.
So a lot of serious comedians like yourself get involved in Just for Laughs and the Toronto Fringe Festival, just to name a few. How did you break into the US comedy market? Because I heard that you've done some stuff there.
Oh, yeah. I used to drive to Buffalo to do an open mic.
Wow. Yeah, that's brave.
I was going to say, I wouldn't drive there.
I know, I do crazy. And then I met Kristen Becker back in the day. She's an American comic, and she ran a show out of there. And then she started booking for Helium Comedy Club in Buffalo, and she booked me for some spots there. But like, yeah, I need my visa and I can't work there, but like, there's that whole complicated thing, whatever. But like, I did a bunch of festivals. So
do they need to know that you're working there?
Yeah, it would be good. Yeah, I need the visa.
Okay.
But I did some festivals. Like I did one in California at this one town in it's called St. Louis Obispo. They did it the first year, and it was amazing. It was so much fun. So, and I just love like to see how people would react in different areas to my jokes. Especially because I do a lot of Jamaican material. So recently I did the Seattle comedy competition. I didn't make it to the semis, but I was just like, I was like, yo, let me do jokes about my dad and see how it goes. Like, and they laughed, but they mostly applauded. They're like, that sounds like a Jamaican dad that we've never heard in person. It's amazing. Thank you.
Because we're Seattle. Oh man.
Yeah. It's just fun, man. Yeah. But yeah, I gotta work on the visa. So I think it would be super helpful.
Yeah, my brother and I were pretty stupid because we'd tell our dad jokes to his face about him, and then we would get sent away from the dinner table. Like, we got in big trouble.
Oh shoot! My dad was at the meeting was doing stand up for a bit. He started stand up.
Oh, cool!
And he was doing it with me for a bit. Yeah, but he's in Jamaica now. But like the thing was, he did it because there was one comic. She started a show where parents would do material. And then the comic would go on after the parents. I'm like, Dad, you want to do stand up? And he's like, okay. Oh, he was so excited. I'm like, what? Okay. So he did stand up for the first time. It was so funny because like his Jamaican accent is thick and I could tell nobody understood what he was saying. But my dad was like so excited and they just like, they loved him. We're like, oh my God, we loved your dad. He was like, I love it so much. I love stand up. I'm like, yo, why do you come to some open mics with me? So I drag him to open mics with me. And then I started putting him on my show. And I'm like, you guys, my dad's performing tonight.
That's so cute. I would go see your dad perform.
Oh my God, people loved him.
Awesome.
Is he
like some women came up to me, they were just like, make sure your dad's on every show.
Oh my God, that's fantastic.
I know, but then they retired and they're in Jamaica. There's not a lot of places they can go out there. Like they live in the hills, so it's like
nice.
Yeah. So mostly he's just writing. He likes writing books and stuff like that. So that's my
great.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's awesome.
So so you sent us some info about yourself ahead of time, and you said something about being on Teletoons. What did you do there?
Oh yeah, years ago I did a voiceover for. They were trying to pitch a Jamaican cartoon for Teletoons. Was it Desjourney or whatever? So yeah, I was a couple characters on there. I was like the crazy baby mother, not far off from what I usually am anyway. They're like, pretend to be like you're an upset, crazy baby mother and your husband just left you. And I'm like, really? Okay. So you want me to act like myself? Sure.
Nice.
So it was a breakfast then?
It was a cartoon they were supposed to pitch. Like we did one episode and it was like a competition, but like it was pretty good. If they would have went with it, then I would have had like a main role, like this crazy baby mother, and it was like this gigantic black woman with like babies off her breast. And you want to leave me? You want to leave me? And they just loved it. I was like, okay, whatever, man. Let's see how this goes. But it's a good cartoon. They never chose it, but it's still on YouTube. It's called it's called Ninja Jamaica. Like so many Canadian comics did like Ninja Jamaica. So many Canadian comics were on that. It was like Kenny Robinson was a main character on there. John Paul was on there, Patrick Hay, like it was cool. I wish they went through with that, but that was a fun thing.
And then you had you had experiences in other networks as well, like the Comedy Network, CBC. CBC. Well, I recently did we did that Perry Sound taping. That was cool. I did that, and I did. I went to Winnipeg last year to do some taping for one of the themes. That was a pretty cool experience. Winnipeg, but the comedy festival's amazing. They're more censored in Winnipeg.
Oh well, for the TV stuff. It was super censored. They were like, yeah, can you change this word for this word? I'm like, what? But like,
okay. So funny story. We interviewed, you must know Angela Majorano Thurston.
Yeah, of course I do.
So we had her on the show not that long ago, and she was talking about the Winnipeg Comedy Festival and how was it the stage manager was a young woman and went up to her and said, yeah, can you like not use the word cunt in your show? And she's like, yeah. And she's like, yeah, you need to clean up your show a little bit. Like if you can just do that. And she was like, oh, okay, cunt. No, like, and we were talking about it. And we're just like killing ourselves laughing because she's like, yeah. And then like all the guys could do all their dick jokes. And it's like, what's the difference, girl? Like Winnipeg. Yeah. Come on.
No, they make you submit like whatever you're talking. Well, my sets are normally normally cunt free anyway. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know it's a tough word in Canada, eh?
yeah. Yeah, I don't have much but they had to like say certain, they're like, oh, the COVID jokes, just not that much. I'm like, all right, fine.
Really?
Yeah, I'm only a nurse who lived it for 3 years, people, right? Like,
Oh yeah, I still do the COVID jokes.
Yeah,
I
you
can't.
can't find the funny in that. I mean, it's sure it's serious, but it's pretty funny too. What people?
Oh yeah, there's
did
some
to
people though. There's some
compensate.
audiences are just like, nope, don't talk about COVID. And I'm like, really?
yeah.
We're talking about COVID because I'm up here. So yeah, thank you for sure. So
So funny. So you've had numerous brushes with fame and shared the stage with some pretty impressive names like Gilbert Godfrey and Coco Brown, Luenell.
yeah.
So is it true that you should never meet your idol, or were they like good experiences? Not that you have to dish on any of that.
They were like, everybody was so cool. It was just like cool to hear their careers and stuff like that. So yeah, my situation is always like super different because like I have to work and do comedy, but who doesn't in Canada? Like it's just, it's always different in the States. There's like I feel like there's like the opportunity there's like times 100 from here for sure.
Yeah,
No kidding, eh?
but it's sad because like I get that obviously the demographics there are so much huger than they are in Canada, but like really when you think about the amount of less people that we have, the funny people that we have in Canada, like per capita is like so much higher than the States.
Oh yeah.
Just
but it's like I noticed when I was, especially when I went to Seattle, I noticed that like doing comedy shows there, people come so much easier. Like they just like, people are there ready to laugh. Like I did one show that they had to change the venue last minute, a couple hours before, and it was still sold out. Like it was just like people like, so I feel like people in the States support the arts way more than here, 110%. Like it's just different, man. It's just so much easier there. Like if you want to have a career as a comedian, like it's just easier for sure. Yeah.
It's too bad it's not that way in Canada, but it's across the board. Sports, art, pretty much everything, right? Like other than our hockey team, right?
Yeah.
And basketball.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Everything else, you're fighting for every dime, right? It's sad.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
But all those sports venues in the States are filled with Canadian players.
Yeah.
Exactly. There's a lot of Canadian comics that are in the States.
Yeah.
Yep. People leave.
Yeah.
It's sad.
It is sad.
And
maybe one day.
One day it'll be me. I'll be good.
See ya.
Zabrina, we will keep praying that it is you, girl. And we'll be like, we interviewed her when she was just a Canadianish comedian. Look at her.
Yay.
Yay.
Yeah, man.
So, Zabrina, last question, promise. Do you have any advice you want to give to anyone starting out in this wonderful world of comedy now?
Wow. I think, well, I remember I heard this advice from a lot of comedians that like, you should just focus on, I don't know who told me this, but anyways, you should just focus on writing your material. Like, don't worry about the things and opportunities that are going on around you because you need to write and work on your material first. There's always so many distractions, you know, like people get this gig and you didn't get it. Who cares? Just focus on your own journey. Cause like comedy, pursuing comedy is like literally a journey. It's like you have to learn about yourself. Some people are learning about themselves and then they learn about themselves on stage. Like it's very complicated, like to figure out what the audience like, what type of audience likes what. Like you go to a show and it's like, okay, this looks like an older crowd. What kind of jokes can I do that they would like here? Like this looks like a younger crowd. Like, you know, it's just, yeah, it's a lot. So just just keep on writing and don't worry about anything else, just as long as you're always writing. And that's the most important, building your material. So for sure, get ready for that showcase.
That's great. And very good advice. So true. So true.
Yeah, for sure.
It doesn't come easy. right? Being a
Yeah.
comedian is not an easy life.
Oh
Right.
yeah, totally. So that's why I do another job.
Aw. Well, we thank you for doing your job because
Yeah,
you're amazing.
course.
You're a nurse. You deserve
Yeah.
all the applause and
Yeah.
kudos.
100%. I don't, I mean, I respect what you do. And it's incredible. It's incredible. And I don't even know you, but I mean, I know what it is you have to go through every day.
Oh yeah.
And thankfully you have the humor to handle it.
Oh, I need the humor. You need the humor. How
Yeah.
can you be serious in a job like this? There's no way. I don't understand people who are serious.
Yeah.
And like, I'll meet other nurses who are like, oh my God, we just love to laugh. And I'm like, yeah, I don't understand people who take everything seriously. Like, now I joke around 110% more. And like, everybody's just like, yeah, whatever. Let's just laugh.
Aw,
You have
that's
to.
great.
You have to.
Yeah, you have to. It's over. So I think a lot of people are realizing that. So the Canadian scene is becoming better. So let's see. Let's see what happens in the future.
So tell us what's your big thing you're promoting for end of year, beginning of next year.
Well, I still have Things Black Girls Say. That's a monthly show at Comedy Bar, like
Nice.
the third Sunday of the month usually. But yeah, you could go to comedybar.ca to check that out. And yeah, follow me on Twitter at Zabrina Douglas. Okay. At Zabrina Douglas for more show updates because I'm always busy. So
Are you verified on Twitter? Just asking. Because you pay the $8 now and you too can be verified on Twitter.
Oh wow. Is it that easy?
Oh yeah.
Okay, yeah, I have to look into it. I've been life gets in the way for me updating stuff. But yeah. I know. I look into that as well. Thank you.
That's great.
Shall we just tell people to follow you on Instagram as well?
Oh yeah, follow me on Instagram. Hello.
Okay.
I'm not really on TikTok. I should be,
but you could be.
I am, but my account hasn't been updated for so long. Like I need to put stuff out there, but it's so hard updating the socials. It's so much work.
It is.
It's almost a full-time job. Seriously.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. Like you have to be a comedian and to be a comedian. I don't know how comedians are content creators too. It's like a lot of work. It's like so work.
Yeah. I feel that. I'm feeling that pressure right now. In fact,
yes,
we are 2 weeks behind in posting.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. Understandable. I get it.
Well,
for sure.
Life gets in the way sometimes.
It does.
Oh yeah, it's all good. It's all good though.
Well, Zabrina, thank you so much for your time. You are just a breath of fresh air, and you're such a delight to talk to, and you're so funny.
Oh my God!
And you got me all pumped up too.
Yeah.
I'm ready to do something. I don't know what, but something.
You're like, yeah, what can I do? What can I do? It's almost 3:00. You probably have other stuff to do. So sorry I came late.
It's all right. It's all right.
That's my nightmare, waking up and missing things. That's my literal nightmare. I hate that. Oh.
That's okay.
But you guys been so nice.
You just, you know what? You get a what is it, pass?
Yeah.
Because of what you do. I mean, I figured exactly. I had all I could think of was, yep, she worked last night. Yep, she worked last night. And if you didn't work, you were probably out at a comedy bar doing something.
Oh, I went last night. I did 2 shows and then I went to work.
Oh my word.
That was a good guess on my part.
You're so busy. Wow.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
It's insane. Yeah. But yeah, man, for sure. Thank you for having me.
It's our pleasure.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you so much.